Before we hop into the video, if you guys would like the 6 major mistakes that Vanguards are making to improve your Vanguard gameplay, link in the description below. I already have that video on my channel. This video is the mistakes that strategists make. Let's hop into it. So the very first mistake that I see a lot of strategist players do is not use cover. Whether it's high rank or low rank, this is something that strategist players tend to forget quite often. And one of the main reasons is because certain characters have hard to hit hitboxes, or what they have are escape abilities such as Invisible Woman. This is pretty much what happens when you see a player that doesn't use cover and they approach a situation like they're not going to be in danger because they have escape abilities or they have crowd control and things like that. You see how close I'm getting? And even though melee characters don't necessarily need cover, it's not really just about using cover. It's also about the positioning when you're in cover. So let's run this same situation back and I'm going to show you what to do. As you see here, I'm being very patient. I'm just waiting for my opportunity to move up. Now you might be saying, well, Poppin, you know, you're a little bit further away from the spot that you were at last time. Don't worry, we'll get there, we'll get there. So as we continue to move, I have to jump down because I can't see anything without jumping down. However, we do know that there's a Psylocke, there's a Thing, there's a Magic, all these characters that can just get into my face and make life a pain. That's the thing though, you don't want them to easily do it. You want them to have to struggle to get to you, and then once they get to you, because your positioning is so good, you're able to then just jump away and make them waste so much time. So here's what happens. I'm using cover. I'm still helping. I'm still doing what I can, but I'm using cover. What does this do? You ever heard of that saying, out of sight, out of mind? That's basically what you're getting right here. Unless people are paying really close attention to my head being popped out or paying attention to the bullets that I'm throwing, no matter which strategist it is, they sometimes don't realize that you're there. I can do everything that I wanted to do from the same exact spot that this Adam Warlock is doing it. This is why you use cover. You don't need to be so far deep into it. Especially because if you happen to get hit by a stray shot, which brings you to about 70% HP, that dive character, Spider-Man, Black Panther, Wolverine, whatever, these characters can just KO you like that because you're already low. That's what happens, and that's why majority of strategist players struggle with divers. It's not because they're just really hard to deal with, but a lot of the times they're already low by the time they come in. It's a really quick secure, and then they end up losing the match that way. So we're just gonna continue to stay there, doing our thing. And you see we're not moving forward until the space provided allows us to move forward, right? If we look at it from this point of view, you'll notice that, oh Jesus, what's going on? We'll notice that at that particular time where my team was over here, we didn't have any area to play, which means my positioning needs to be further back. However, now because my team is moving forward, I have more area to play. This doesn't mean I'm entirely safe, but it does mean I can move up and take little pieces of cover that's a little bit further ahead of where I was. So you see, I'm still using cover, still making sure that I'm not out there, kind of like this Jeff as an example. It doesn't matter which strategist you're playing, it's pretty much the same. You want to try to use your cover, you want to try to find those angles. Moving on to the second major mistake that I usually see, doesn't matter high rank or low rank, it's the same thing, is the lack of reloading. Players do not reload. The problem with not reloading is that when you're playing a strategist, some characters require your primary fire as a way to heal other people. Invisible Woman is that character. Now, reloading is good for any role, but just when it comes to support or when it comes to strategists, if you reload at a horrible time, they will KO. So you want to reload frequently. During this fight, you'll notice that I'm reloading periodically. I never really go below 5. It's not like I have a magic number. I just reload when there's nothing going on. And I'll explain what that looks like in a second. So after we watch this, as you see, I'm still reloading, and there's a thought process to why I reload. I'm not just spamming the reload button. I'm reloading at specific times. So why was I reloading at each specific moment? Well, if we go back, where did I reload? I reloaded right there because I was midair, I was jumping, and I was running away. What's the point of not reloading here? I'm not doing anything anyway, right? I reload again right there. Why? No one's taking damage. So you can do damage, you can heal a little bit, but if you notice that there's not really a reason to be throwing your stuff out, then don't, just reload real quick. Because every single time I reload, instead of having 7 shots or 5 shots, I have 10 every single time. So right here, this guy's getting low. Because I'm too far away to heal this guy, because that's the only guy that's in danger, I reload. So that way, if he gets close, I can heal him. Look how low he gets. But I just reloaded. I reloaded when he was up there, which means that I can focus on this guy and heal this dude. Now, we do have other healers healing him, of course, but it still adds on to the healing that he's getting. Because I reloaded, I have 10 shots to play with every single time. If I didn't reload and I only had 3 shots, what if I miss 2? Then I only had 1 healing shot, I have to reload, and by that time, Wolverine could have easily KO'd. This is what you want to get into the habit of, because reloading lets you have really good uptime when it comes to your heals. It does not matter which character you are playing. If they have a primary fire for their healing, you want to make sure that you're reloading frequently. Jeff, Invisible Woman, Loki, the list goes on and on. You guys know. So just make sure you're reloading when there's nothing happening, when you're not close enough, when you're changing positions, anything like that. When it's downtime, reload as much as possible. Once you get into the habit of that, you'll notice how easy it is for you to continue to keep people healthy. And on top of that, it will transfer to when you're playing tank or when you're playing DPS. Having that high reload is going to help you be able to pump out more damage and again, have more uptime. Moving on to the third major mistake, wasting ultimates. So many times, and you guys see me on stream when you guys watch me, I get super frustrated at it. I don't type, but it's just in my head, like, why are you wasting your ultimate? When you save your ultimate, not only are you allowing yourself to save it for the most important moment for the fight or for whatever objective you're trying to take, but also it means that it's always ready. I'd rather have the ultimate and not need it than need it and not have it. Too many times players get into this mindset where they feel like, well, I have my ult, let me use it right now. But when you do that, you open yourself up for everyone to just get obliterated during the team fight. You do not do this. Here's a prime example of not wasting the ultimate. So we get ready to go in. I'm just kind of fighting, doing my thing, right? And as soon as we start, I noticed that she ulted. Now I already had it in my mind. This is kind of an advanced thing. This is called awareness. When your awareness is really high, you'll be able to like take note of the entire fight, just kind of like snapshots. So I knew that the only real person in danger was Penny. I can easily escape this. I saved my cooldowns, right? I saved my cooldown. So I can easily outplay this situation. But is Penny going to be okay? Well, maybe not, but I can heal her through it. She's a tank. So I don't ult. Penny actually ends up running out. Next ult that comes is Mantis. Once again, people usually waste their ultimates. People say, oh, these other support ulted, so I must ult. No, that's not true. If the other support ultimate doesn't accomplish anything, there's no reason for you to ult. So let's go ahead and watch this. Right here, I know no one's in danger. I know there's no reason for me to back up ult, so I'm gonna save it. Now, of course, I didn't have it at that time, but even if I did, I wouldn't have used it in both scenarios. So I'm just doing my thing, even though the thing ulted, I'm still not using my ult. So people could be frustrated. Why popping? You sure? What's going on? What's going on? I know that I'm not really in any danger and I want to wait. I'm using my abilities to get away, repositioning. The whole fight is over. Now it's like, Poppin', you wasted your ultimate. You know, you didn't have it. Again, I'd rather have my ultimate ready and not need it than need it and not have it. What happens next? Magic ults. I know for a fact that magic ulting is usually a team wipe ability, especially if the magic can play magic quite decently. It's very easy to KO all of us and we're sitting on top of each other. I ult. That right there saved the entire team fight. Why? Because I literally just waited. I positioned well, I waited for the right moment to use the ultimate, and we win the fight right then and there. Am I waiting for magic to ult? No, I really wasn't expecting it, but I'm already in the mindset of I use abilities when they're needed. In this particular case, there was no reason to use it, but as soon as I see magic, it just kind of instinctively kicked in. We need to ult because she's about to wipe everybody. So if you want to climb the ranks, if you want to become a better strategist, make sure you're not wasting your ultimates. I do have a video about when's the best time to use your ultimates, link in the description below. Check it out. I go over that type of stuff, but it's very, very important that you guys learn to do this if you want to win more games. It is crucial. Moving on to the fourth thing that I see a lot of strategists make mistakes on is spamming abilities. A lot of the times players spam abilities like crazy because it's always up. Marvel Rivals is a very fast-paced game, and so a lot of players, like a lot of players, spam. They just throw everything out because it's on cooldown, and they just keep doing it and doing it and doing it because there's no mana. There's really not a lot of resources to prevent you from doing that. However, when you're playing a strategist, that's one of the worst things you can do. other roles too, but that's a different conversation for a different time. But when you're playing strategist, these abilities and how you use them is going to be the thing to make sure that you stay alive and so that your team stays relevant during the team fight. So during this clip, I know a lot of players would start throwing out the abilities, start throwing out the pulse ball and everything like that. Why? Because it does damage, it gives ult charge and all that extra good stuff. Yeah, we know. They're also stacked on top of each other. But why would I do that right now when I don't need to? The role in the fight at this moment is to keep everyone sustained. I don't have a role to peel. I don't have a role to do damage. My role right now in this particular moment is going to be healing. My team is all lined up. Why would I do anything else? So that's what we're focusing on. I'm not throwing up my shields repeatedly because that's also a crucial resource. And we're just playing slow. Now I do throw the ball over here. Why? Because I want to force this guy out of this position. It's not for the fact that his team can't heal him, right? They can definitely keep him to full HP, but I want to move this guy out of here so he's forced to play here. This is one of the main things that Invisible Woman thrives at, is just moving people out of their secluded locations. So he's like, oh, I gotta go. And he ran to the left. This is exactly what I wanted him to do. Now we go in, same exact thing. I'm not wasting abilities. I'm not throwing the shields. I'm not pushing anything. Why? My main goal right now is to just keep people sustained. I didn't use my jump or anything. Why? Because I could save it. The fact that I have my jump allows me to sustain myself in these fights. Now, because I had my jump, I'm able to stay relevant, and I'm able to use my other abilities like my shields and the heals and all that extra good stuff to keep players healthy. Using my shield there, making sure that these guys stay healthy when they spawn, as you see. All this, I do not know what's going to happen. I just play to what's needed at that moment. Should, let's just say my shield broke before and it's very, very low, or it got low before I put it up, that's a possible KO for both of them. But because I waited, because I used all of my abilities, my jump, my shield, and soon to be my push/pull, we're able to win a lot more of these fights. Side lock comes in, I jump away because I had my jump relevant. And I also thought about ulting, but exactly the same thing that I said before. We don't want to waste abilities. Ultimates are still considered abilities. We do not want to waste abilities. They were okay, just like the last scenario. I didn't need to do anything. I put the ball there to prevent her from going left or right. She had to either go in the middle or just, she had no way to get out, so we were stopping her from leaving to get the KO. And that's pretty much what happened in terms of that fight. Because we were able to save all our abilities, because we were able to play the fight properly, we were able to make sure that our team comes on top. Now, your team doesn't always come on top, unfortunately, but the goal of the game when you're wanting to climb, every role can carry, and I plan to make a video or something about this in terms of how to do it. But one of the ways that strategists do it is by being, well, not strategists, but just people in general. One of the easy ways to carry a game, no matter which role you are, is making your team's life easier. If they have to do less work, then you can essentially just kind of get free wins. You know what I mean? The fact that I saved my abilities, the fact that I jumped out of the thing ult, the fact that I jumped out of the Psylocke ult, I'm still relevant. I still can give you heals. The fact that I have my abilities ready, I can still shield you, I can still ult if needed. Everything, I'm able to keep that uptime because I'm always in a good position. I'm always not throwing everything out. I can use it. Imagine if Psylocke ult ended her ultimate and someone was really, really low at this point in time, and I had my push. I could push her back so that she can't secure the KO. This is why we save our abilities. I don't want to spend too long on this one, but this is one of the most important ones out of this entire list, is wasting your abilities. The fifth major mistake that I notice a lot of strategist players make is positioning too close. So positioning is different from using cover. I can use cover here, and I can use cover here. However, it's still different positioning, even though we're still using cover. And this happens a lot more than you would think. So strategist players generally, like, look at that. Prime example, strategist players generally are really, really close, and it doesn't really matter the rank. People generally end up getting in that position for some reason. So here's what happens when I get too close. Now this is intentional. I don't position this close. This is ridiculous, but I see it all the time. So I wanted to try to replicate it. After they take out my backline, they then focus me. I have to play out of my mind. I have to play a lot better. I have to wiggle around. I have to jiggle. I have to do all this crazy stuff because I'm out of position. I almost KO. I don't. And one of the main reasons is because I'm playing an invisible woman. Again, this is what goes through a lot of players' minds, is that I'm playing a character that can get away. Invisible woman, cloak and dagger, rocket, Jeff, whatever. So I'm gonna position like crap. And that type of stuff is why you're not climbing, because eventually you're gonna get to a rank where they abuse that. There's no way I should have survived right there. No way. I just got lucky. And if you had to replicate that 10 times in a row, I guarantee you probably only survive about twice. It doesn't happen that often. I was way too close. What else happened in that situation if we go back? Because it's not just about you. It's not just about your life. Check this out. Because we were too close, look what happens. I can't support these two players because we're too close. If I were here, I could. If I were here, I could, and I could still help Penny. But because I'm so far up, I can't see what's going on, and I can't assist even if I wanted to. When you're positioning further away, what you're allowing yourself to do is see a better have a better field of view of the whole entire fight. This is why every single time you saw me fight within this match, or if you ever watch me play on stream, I'm super far away. Not to the point where I can't help, but just so I can see the big picture. The closer you are to the front, the harder it is for you to see the big picture. This is what you're doing when you're playing as a tank. You're just hoping that the back line is okay if people get too far away from you. This is what you're doing as a strategist, but that's not what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to be like, oh, we're too far. Time to ignore whatever's happening back there. You don't do that, right? But you also don't want to do this. I'm helping guys while there's people behind you. This is why you position further away, to make sure that not only are you going to stay healthy and relevant and keep that uptime for your team to make sure that they're okay, but you're also making sure that you can have a better field of view of what's happening. Who's about to use their ult? Who's gap closing on us? Who's low on our team? All this can help you plan for a better positioning in the future should you have to move, help you for a better chance to find cover should you need it, a better chance to outplay the opponent should you have to. All this comes from just positioning a little further back so you're not too close to your team. Moving on to mistake number 6, trying to salvage or save lost team fights. When you try to save lost team fights as a strategist, you're effectively staggering your team even more. When you try to keep everyone healthy to continue to fight even though the fight is lost, you're saying, okay, survive in the fight longer, which means by the time they spawn and get ready to come back, your entire team is wiped again, all because you tried to keep them healthy. On top of that, using ultimates at the end of the fight when you could just save it for the next one. So here in this example, our tank gets picked off. See, she gets picked off right there, walking a little bit too close. From this point, we do not try to save this. This is a lost fight unless our team starts playing out of their mind. The reason why we position so far back, the reason why we're not trying to force a win, we're just trying to assist, but we're not trying to use our abilities and force a win and KO and whatnot, because even if we do, let's just say we got the Star-Lord right here, but Jeff ends up KOing or something like that. Well, we still can't push. We don't do anything with that, right? So there's no reason to force to try to save this fight. If we win the fight, we win the fight. If we don't, we don't. This is why you see me back. I'm not using abilities. I'm not trying to ult. I'm not doing anything. We're just playing the poke phase until our tank comes back. Then once the tank comes back, we're here. Pretty much how it works is there's 3 types of phases. Well, you could just say 2 to make it simple. I'm not gonna oversaturate this video, but the types of phases that we have are gonna be, we have phase 1, which is going to be the poke phase. This is the phase where we just throw stuff out. We try to do something a little crazy. I guess I will add 3. The next one is going to be finding a pick. So this is after maybe someone got smacked by an ability, right? And they're super, super low. And then someone can look for that pick to KO them. After the pick, or when it's about to happen at least, then you have the 3rd phase, which is a full-on team fight. At this point, what's happening is that everybody's just playing to the last man standing type gameplay. That's what's happening. So let's rewatch this. We'll keep this up. Okay, we'll keep this up. And what we'll do, I should have moved it. I'm a griefer. But we're gonna keep this up and we're gonna see what exactly happened in this particular point when Penny walked out. All right, here we go. Ready? So, right now, the poke face. finding pick phase, full team fight phase. But because we understand that the team fight is lost based off which character just got picked, means that we restart this entire process. So now we're back to the poke phase. We shouldn't be looking for anything. Unfortunately, Star-Lord trolled because he didn't understand what phase of fight we were supposed to be in, and he got KO'd for it. Finding a pick, looking for an all-out team fight phase, but we're not looking for a team fight phase because we're lacking a key member of our team. And I will talk more about the good KOs and the bad KOs in another video. Make sure you subscribe if you want to see, what KOs are good and what's bad and stuff like that. So we're coming back, right? We're not really looking for the fight. I'm still positioning well because I understand the flow of the fight. So now we're poke phasing again. Right, we're still poke phasing. Finding a pick, it should be the thing. Now we play the game. Now we play for real. Now we're moving in because we got that pick. Now it's a full-on team fight. Now we're going. Boom, what's up, baby? Got an O for you. Bam, free love. And that's how you play the fight. I could have done the same exact thing before, but the reason why we did it is because of the flow of the team fight. One of our key players got kicked out, which means the fight is over. That was why, they could have aggressed there and probably potentially wiped the entire team, but they didn't. And I wouldn't have allowed it. I played so far back that if I needed to assist them, as I said, I wasn't trying to fight. I wasn't trying to win. I was strictly trying to assist them, to not KO, to get Penny back on the map. That's all I was doing. I wasn't looking for a force. I wasn't trying to use all my abilities. I was going to use every single ability to disengage that entire situation. Once we come back, once we start winning that poke fight phase, once we got a pick, now I'm using my abilities aggressively. Now I don't care about defense. Bro, we're moving, we're pushing, let's get this done. That is how you play team fights. So you do not want to try to use all your abilities, try to drain yourself, trying to save a team fight that is lost. Penny is one of our key players for this because that's our only tank. Should she get knocked out, we need to wait for her to come back because we do not have a way to play the fight anymore. Again, if you're confused about the KOs and which are good and which are bad and key players of the team, I plan to make a video eventually about that, so make sure you subscribe that way you're notified. But I also did a stream called the Hero Huddle. This is going to be something that I'm going to be doing periodically that is going to explain a lot of these key concepts in more detail while looking at your reviews. So I'll link that in the description below as well. Check that out if you want a more in-depth dive, especially from players that are not necessarily not necessarily, that's not what I meant to say. If you want a perspective from players that are not me, that's what I meant to say. But I hope this helped you guys out. This is the 6 major mistakes that I usually see strategists make. If you want to see Vanguard, again, the link is in the description below. And if you want to know how to use your ultimates properly, link below. And if you want to get more information about the team fights and stuff like that from the Hero Huddle, link in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. And until next time, you know what I always say. If you guys are doing what? Popping often. We'll often.